What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. In today's video, I'm going to give you 10 tips for starting out on the Isle of Siptah DLC for Conan Exiles. And my tip number 10 is that Siptah is like a big clock. You either have a maelstrom going in the center of the map, or you have wild surges going across the map. Additionally, nights are a lot brighter than you would expect on the Isle of Siptah, mainly because when you are fighting in the maelstrom, normally it's nighttime. And in order for you to actually be able to see during the maelstrom and not have to carry a torch, it needs to be lighter. So you can expect lighter nights and even brighter days. In fact, there is a fun little saying that a lot of us have when we're playing together, that the bright comes, because the difference between night and day happens very, very rapidly. So be prepared for your eyes to take a shock when it becomes daylight. Tip number 9 has to do with building. Now, the Flotsam DLC building pieces require more wood than they do stone. That's why you'll see, at least on the outer edges of the map, you'll see a lot more trees than you do stones, because the Flotsam building pieces require so much more wood than it does stone. Now, you can still build in sandstone, and once you get more towards the center of the map, you'll find a lot more stone. But if you're planning on building in the Flotsam style, be prepared to use an absolute truckload of wood. If you're new here, I'd encourage you to click that subscribe button, click that bell so you get notified when I upload another video. Tip number 8 is all about where the aloe grows on the Isle of Siptah. So basically around any of the water that is fresh. So we have salt water where the ocean surrounds the outside of the island that you're playing on, and then we have the fresh water, the waterways that go into the island. So these are going to be your streams and rivers, and then there are lakes and different things on the island. You are going to find aloe around all of those water sources. My suggestion is going to be that you build in the area of these water sources. That way you've got an easy way to get the aloe, which you're gonna need throughout your playthrough on the Isle of Siptah. Number 7, resources on the Isle of Siptah look different than what you're used to in the exiled lands. And I'll give you a few examples. Brimstone is going to have a very dark color with some golden highlights or yellow highlights in it. They still look like stalagmites, but they do look different than what you're used to in the exiled lands. The other two would be crystal. That looks different than what you're used to in the exiled lands as well. You can find these both laying on the ground as small black rocks, or you can find the nodes around some of the different vaults where you can actually harvest them with a pick. Gold is another one. Gold has gone to looking like it is an iron ore with different coloring. So you're going to be looking for a black rock with gold highlight. Tip number 6 is all about thralls. Now, when you come across a wild surge, take what you can get. I don't care if it's a tier 1 fighter, 2, 3, grab it up and make it your companion. The same goes for all of the artisans. As you're going around into these wild surges, grab what you can find. If you find a tier 3, make sure you grab the tier 3, because tier 4 thralls are very, very hard to get, and you are not going to get these until end game. Tip number 5, there is no purge. So you can look at your inventory screen, there's actually not even a purge meter. So you do not have to build in a way where you are building so that the purge can or cannot come to you, or building in a way that you are defensible against the purge. Obviously, if you're playing PvP versus PvE, you want to build appropriately for that game type, but you don't have to worry about a purge on the Isle of Siptah. Tip number 4, do not build in the center of the map. The center of the map is reserved for the Maelstrom, and I say that as far as don't build in the Maelstrom until you're ready. I'm not going to say more than that because I feel like I would be spoiling some endgame content, and this is a beginner's guide video to the Isle of Siptah, so just don't build in the Maelstrom until you're ready to do so. If you're enjoying this video, show your support by whacking the like button. Tip number 3, and the top 3 are all going to jive together, but number 3 is all about Eldarium. Eldarium is the most important resource on the Isle of Siptah, and it's a finite resource, so you can only get it in specific areas, and you're going to need a lot of it. Which leads me into tip number 2, do the vaults regularly. Now you can do the first vault at around level 20. And then you can move into the more difficult vaults as you level up and progress, but vaults are where you're going to find the Eldarium. And the Eldarium in those vaults will vary between somewhere around 50 to 70 per run, which is why I say do them regularly, because it's a finite resource. At any point in time, there's only about 700 to 1,000 Eldarium on the map, and then you have to wait for the vaults to reset. Now, my number 1 tip slightly blurs the line between starting out on Siptah and endgame content. So if you're worried about getting a little bit of a pro tip or too much information, go ahead and click off the video now. But my number 1 tip is to use the delving bench religiously. Now you can learn the delving bench by visiting any of the ley shrines and interacting with this pedestal. Once you have that, you need to delve your weapons and armor as much as you can, and there's a lot of good guides on YouTube to figure out what you want to get. However, these weapons and armor require Eldarium to repair, and since legendary repair kits and armor patch kits are very, very difficult to come across in the exiled lands, a lot of these weapons and armors are the best bet, not only because you repair them with Eldarium, but they happen to be the best stuff you can get on the Isle of Siptah, at least as of the making of this video. And that's all I have for you today, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. You can click one of the other videos coming up on the screen to watch next. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. I'll catch you next time. Peace. I'd like to give a big shout out to all my YouTube members. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button below that says join. That'll give you all the details. I'd like to thank all my subscribers for their continued support, likes, comments, and general awesomeness. If you're not subscribed, you can start your free trial today and cancel at any time. Clicking the bell is highly recommended so you get notified when I upload another video.